Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Women's Entrepreneurship Week, an interview series where we're highlighting a different women entrepreneur each day. My name is Erica Johnsrud, and I'm a senior marketing student in the College of Business. And today I look forward to visiting and learning from Jane Schwickert. Jane and her husband Kent established Chankaska Creek Ranch and Winery and Distillery back in 2008 in Kasota, Minnesota. And they began to build and shape their concept for the ideal winery after traveling to over 100 wineries throughout the US and Europe. As a couple, they bring a diverse background of experience and entrepreneurship and successful businesses that made them prepared for the challenge of a winery operation. So, Jane, thank you for taking the time to meet with me today and share some of your insights.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So my first question is, I want to know what's your entrepreneurship background before all this winery stuff? And have you had kind of that bug inside of you where you always knew you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
So I may be different than the other women that you interviewed because that was never a goal of mine. And I wouldn't even say that I necessarily have that spirit, but I've certainly, acquired the love of kind of bringing something to fruition and whatnot. So I'm a little bit humbled because I've never really considered myself an entrepreneur. My husband is kind of the visionary of it all, and to be honest, when he came to me and said he wanted to start a winery, I wasn't very happy about it, because we had busy lives already, and he had his real job, and I just thought, how can we do this? We still had kids at home, and so I think he was the one that kind of convinced me and encouraged me, and even at the time, I was never really planning on being involved. I was kind of involved on the outside of, maybe more design and look and feel and things like that, and helping when I could. But it sort of evolved, and now here I am. I'm the general manager and run the day to day, and have been doing it really since we started. So I kind of have a different path, I think, than maybe a lot of women entrepreneurs. So
Well, I think that is so cool to hear, though, because not everyone necessarily has that passion inside of them. It sounds like your husband is more the visionary type, and then you kind of were practical about how are we going to actually make this happen, and that's so important too. So it's good to
yeah.
hear that not everyone is all the same.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think, I mean, I've learned a lot from him. He is very business oriented and, like I said, visionary. And so I think, that's something that you can learn and that you can be excited to be a part of. And I think that's what I've done. And I've certainly learned a lot over the last 10, 11 years. So
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited to get to talk to you today because I think Chankaska is doing so well and is very popular. I'm sure it's been popular for a while, but I just turned 21 in March, so I couldn't have known sooner.
yeah.
Anyways, so I think it's just a great location for birthdays, any kind of event, weddings. You guys hold ceremonies and receptions.
Yep.
Um, and I just wanted to know, where did the idea for an actual winery? I mean, I think the Midwest, Minnesota definitely is more associated with beer. And how did you kind of get over that challenge of getting people to open their eyes to maybe getting interested in tasting wines rather than only going to breweries or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good question. And, the answer to that is that we still struggle with that. I think the wine industry in Minnesota and in more of the northern region is a new industry. And I think that we still have a lot to do and still have a lot to learn. And I wouldn't say that, the public has latched on to Minnesota wine like they have craft spirits or local spirits and craft local beer. And I think that we continue, sometimes we say we're banging our head against the wall because we really want to show people that Minnesota wine and cold climate grapes can be incredible. And so I think, that's still really part of our mission. And we always are delighted when we can get people here because when we show them what our facility is like and that we're all about quality and that our production area is just as pristine and everything that a production facility is in Napa Valley. And so when we can get people to our facility and show them that and have them taste the incredible wine that we've made and continue to make, we just feel like, well, it's baby steps. If we have to do it one person at a time or a small group at a time, we're going to keep doing that. But I think that the public has, our Minnesotans have a long way to go in really supporting local wine and realizing how good it can be.
Yeah, totally. I think it's really impressive, the way that you're able to completely open someone's mind up to maybe they didn't even know what they were missing out on. And especially in this Mankato area, um, your winery is very special and unique compared to other things. We don't have a whole lot like it around here. So sometimes you just have to show people what they don't even know they want.
Yeah, and I think, that's part of our mission. And to be completely honest, one of the reasons that I wasn't happy about my husband's initial quest to start a winery was because he and I loved really good wine. And I think, like you said in the intro, we've been to hundreds of wineries and traveled all over the world and have had some pretty incredible wine. And so the last thing that I wanted to do and to have our name a part of was something that was not good and was not quality. And I mean, I was funny way back when, but I said, we can't make shit wine. And I know that we have really good quality wine, and my husband and I drink it every day. And so I'm really proud of that because a lot of people don't realize that it's just as good as hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other wines out there or better.
Wow, that's so cool. I also wanted to ask you, since opening the winery, you've expanded into the micro distillery business, and you offer whiskey, gin, and brandy. Was that always part of the plan? I read somewhere that you're the only winery in Minnesota to hold a distilled spirits license. I don't know if that's still true or not, but
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's still true, but we're one of the one of the only few that do that. And I think I wouldn't say that that was necessarily part of the original plan, but as we got into it, it made sense, because we can use grapes and other local products to make the spirits. It just, it just seemed like one of those steps to take and, to go into that product as well. And, also with the events that we hold, events has always been a part of our business plan. And, now to be able to serve, the only thing we don't serve that's ours is beer. But to be able to serve wine and make cocktails with products that we make is wonderful. And we're proud of that. And it's certainly been a great addition. And it's also, it's also opened up for a whole nother group of customers. I mean, not everybody likes wine, and that's okay. And that's why we've always served beer here, because we want people to know, hey, it's okay if you don't like wine. But now we can also offer spirits, and that just opens up a whole nother group of customer base.
Yeah, it seems like one of the reasons for your success is when a door opens, you guys definitely seek it out and see what
Yeah.
you can make with that. And I think that's a really good strategy. Um, you're also very well known for hosting weddings and other really large events, which I want to hear about the experience, maybe how you had to get creative through COVID, when nobody could have a large event. What kinds of things were you doing instead to get innovative to stay in business?
That was hard. And I would say that we're still recovering from COVID in a lot of ways, as I know a lot of other, especially hospitality businesses are. And yet at the same time, I'm very proud we're still open when you look at all of the wonderful places that closed down, really because of COVID. We got as creative as we possibly could. Basically events were shut down. And that was very devastating to us, because in 2019, we built a brand new event center. And in 2019, we also added on our cocktail room. And so to have that pandemic come so close to when we were just getting started with those two facilities was, a big tragedy for us. But I was able to keep on all of my managers during that time where we were completely closed down. And, we took it as, okay, we're going to do everything we can. We're going to paint the buildings that need to be painted. We're going to repair the things that need to be repaired. We're going to call people and see if they want to buy wine, and we'll bring it out to people's cars. We did everything we could. And, we also had a plan for when we did slightly open, and we were ready to go with that. I mean, my background, I'm an RN, and I graduated from Mankato State. And my profession was, for most of my life, was in infection control and infectious disease. So that background certainly helped me, and we were able to quickly put in place a plan where we could keep customers and our staff as safe as possible. And it was tough, but we did it, and I'm really proud of that.
Absolutely. Like you said, so many amazing businesses had to close during that time.
Yeah.
And sounds
Yeah.
like you just got to work in other ways, like,
Right.
Evaluating where your opportunities lie, what kinds of things you could improve to come
Yeah.
back to when you come back to business, then
Right.
maybe you can see that how that maybe was somewhat uh good for some perspective. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think, we certainly learned some things during that time. There's things that we continue to adopt now that we did during COVID that we figured kind of worked out pretty good. So, I think that, someone always says that to you. It's like you learn, you got to learn at every step you take. And I think that's what we did. We maybe initially started out and said, well, this sucks. I don't want to do this. But we did, and we learned from it, and some of it was okay. And we continued on with that. So,
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. I was also curious to know, um, where do you see Chankaska going in the future? I mean, you guys, like I said, are really opening, you see an open door and you pursue may be a possibility. Are there any new projects or ventures you have going on?
Right now, no. We certainly would like to expand our spirits. I think our wish list down the road is to get another still so that we can produce more spirits and increase our distribution. We distribute our products throughout Minnesota, and we do some in North Dakota, Michigan, and we'd like to expand that. So I think that if we were really looking ahead and looking at doing something bold, it would be to just really increase that distribution and be able to have our products in the entire region and beyond. But I think we're at a point in our economic status and everything that's going on in the country where we got to buckle down a little bit and do good at what we do good right now and keep going and pushing, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to expand our product.
Yeah, those would be exciting next steps. And I mean, I think me personally, if I saw a Chankaska bottle in the store, maybe across the country, I'd feel really excited to see that. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
My last question is, what advice would you have for someone like me or other students in college who are still figuring out what their path is? Maybe they're interested in owning a business, being an entrepreneur. What advice do you have?
That's a good question. And I think that, I would just say anything you do and anywhere you start and any job you have and any path you may get on that you don't know if you're going to be on it for a while or if that's really what you want to pursue, there's something to learn from everything you do. And I think that, I'm old, and I was older when I started this new position, and knew nothing about hospitality, knew nothing about business other than sitting around the table listening to my husband and his family talk business. And here I am, I'm running a winery and distillery, and I have learned so much in the last 10 years, and it's completely different than what I had been doing most of my, professional life. And so I think it's just learn from whatever you're going to do, and, and be confident in your decisions. I mean, one of my biggest sort of turning points here was we were holding an event, and it was a business event. I remember it was out on our patio, and a businessman came up to me and said, "So you're going to run this place?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, do you have any business experience?" And it was very negative, and it kind of, I don't even remember what I said at the time, but that really kind of threw me for a loop, and my confidence was jolted. And I thought, yeah, what am I doing? How and why do I think that I can do this? I have no experience. And so I ran into one of my mentors. She was the director of nursing for years at the hospital, and she was my boss and my mentor and friend. And I told her this story, and she looked at me and she said, "Jane, you can do this job and you can do it well. You have all the assets and the qualities needed to do this job. You know people, you know processes, you know quality. You are just doing it in a completely different venue." And I don't know what it was about that. It turned me around, and it's like, well, yeah, I can do this, and I'm not going to let somebody tell me that I can't. And I think that, find people that make you feel good and make you feel confident, and, that will keep your willingness to to keep on pushing and trying, because you'll make mistakes and all of that, but yeah, be around people who support you.
That's so encouraging to hear that really any experience eventually is going to be good experience, and
Yep,
who knows how it'll help you in the future, but it doesn't mean it's
absolutely.
not relevant. And yeah, I think that's very relatable. I mean, everyone has self-doubt, so it's important to have those people in your life who are going to encourage you and tell you
Yep,
that you can believe in yourself. So,
that's right.
but thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah, of
And
course.
yeah, and thanks for joining me today for this interview and for being an example of a successful women entrepreneur. So thank you, Jane.
Well, thank you. And you did a great job too. So keep it up.
Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.